It's now time for Party Chat Sports.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, Party Chat Sports presents to you the final mock draft of the year! Drew Nelson, Dillon Schroeder, Cam Braun, Caleb Gill, all here with you tonight. And if you aren't down with that, I got 2 words for you. That's fine. That's totally fine. Welcome back, everybody, to Party Chat Sports. I wasn't going to say it. You know, I got yelled at last week because I said a couple naughty words on a pod, so I'm trying to keep it clean. God forbid somebody drops an F-bomb and start talking about cookies. But welcome back, everybody, to Party Chat Sports. And, yes, draft is here.
RIP to all the headphone users.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I had full power.
Hey, I'm still, like, I'm pumped. I'm juiced. The draft is here. I'm ready for it. Been ready. It just feels like this process has taken forever to get to.
I'm ready for this to be over. I'm tired of the fake news. I'm tired of the bullshittery.
Yep.
Some of it's real news.
You can't swear, but
Hey,
you
we got-
can. Hypocrite.
Yeah, within reason. Within
We
reason.
got 2 confirmed picks, so there you go. That's
We
a
don't
first.
have
Stop this madness.
What?
You've confirmed nothing.
Nothing's been confirmed. Heck, this is the first time in maybe close to ever that there hasn't been a trade in the first round this late in the process, like before the draft. Like usually we get some
Something
sort of
funny
trade,
over
some
there?
sort of movement.
I just realized, by the way.
What'd you realize, bud?
Don't worry about it. We talked about it off camera.
Yeah.
No.
Is
That's
that the thing
fantastic.
that we told you that happened?
Hey, shut up over there. Just
Yeah.
focus on your draft picks.
This
You
guy,
got trolled, didn't you?
he reads nothing. He reads nothing.
Finish
He
the
knows
intro.
nothing.
We can get into the ba.
Do
But
we have that? Do we have that queued up?
Yeah.
I hope so.
do it.
Do it.
So prove it.
Will you let Gill finish? Damn.
I feel like at this point we're just kind of riffing. We're just going off the cuff. We do have a mock draft that we're going to do tonight. We have the final mock draft of the draft season. The day after this
Perfect
drops
one.
will be draft day. This is going to be as close as we can possibly get. I mean, that's kind of the point of mock drafts anyways. But like I was alluding to with the whole trade thing, that's really what's going to throw a lot of this Drew a loop. That's what's going to throw this off and make this not accurate. It doesn't matter how perfect we make some of these picks. There will be trades, I'd imagine. Now, we haven't had any movement, and I'm not sure when that movement comes. For a while, I thought the Titans were going to move off that first pick, and now it's like they're locked in. So then, what do the Browns do? Do they move back? Do the Steelers? I know you don't like the sound of this, but do the Steelers get desperate because there is no Aaron Rodgers news? Just let me finish. There is no Aaron Rodgers news yet. Do they get desperate and then jump the Saints? We don't know.
I do know. They had a press conference today. They said they're more likely to go down than up. They already
Smoking
said it.
mirrors. Smoking mirrors.
Steelers haven't gone up for a quarterback in a long time.
Perfect timing then.
Yeah. Never say never, my
Well,
friend. I'm just
Saints
saying.
haven't picked a first-round quarterback in 49 years.
It was like 50, yeah.
So, anyway.
So, we'll get a lot of movement. Let's first, before we do get into this mock draft, let's just kind of discuss some of our favorite players because we have been following this draft process for a long time. A couple of you guys a little bit longer than us. Like I think, Drew and Dillon, you guys have been following this a lot longer than I have. I won't speak for Cam, but just some of the conversations that have been dropped in our group chats and whatnot.
Well, Drew got on the mock draft bandwagon a lot sooner than the rest of us, given the season was over pretty
Easy.
early. But I was not far behind in, Gill. I think, we all of a sudden we got really hot into the mock drafts. But it's been, draft season's always exciting. It's always fun. I feel like this year's a little bit different because I feel like the board isn't as top heavy
My
as it
least
has
favorite.
been in years past.
It doesn't. Yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
last year, I mean, there were so many quarterbacks, and then there's so many great players up top. This year the meat and potatoes of this draft is like pick 15 to 40. I feel like that's where a lot of good players are. So
I think
we'll see.
So I've kind of heard some mixed things on that. So I've heard because there's always talk of are the Jets going to move up? Are they going to move back? And I was listening to a couple Jets podcasters talk about if the Jets move back and if they go back 15, 16 is kind of if you're sitting at 7, if you're in the top 10 now, that might be a little too far out to get one of those because it's a little more top heavy in this class where you may not get a that caliber of player. That might be too far back. So it's just kind of how you gauge the board, how you think things are going to play out, what you think of these players. I mean, teams view players differently than we do. It's just kind of...
This is true.
So speaking of players that we might view differently, who are some of the players that you guys have liked a little bit more throughout this process and just kind of been watching, enjoyed, and really... I mean, maybe you want your team to take them, maybe you don't.
Trevion Henderson, let me explain on that. Listen.
You
Going
stole that
into
from
this
me.
year-
I told you that earlier today in confidence.
It's my guy. It's my guy. I mean, this is the only prospect that I'm genuinely interested in and have the possibility of getting. Listen, Trevion came in to Ohio State, phenomenal. Trevion. Second year, third year, kind of took a little bit of a dive, and I think Drew can attest to that, being a former Ohio State fan. This last year,
that too often.
he picked it up. He may have had some better influences in his life. Praise the Lord. But this guy is a guy that can run block. He's got top-notch speed, high-end speed. He scored, 4 touchdowns in the playoffs? Am I right, Gil? 4 or 5?
Something like that.
All explosive touchdowns. Every single one.
Yeah.
This guy is a guy that can burn defenses. He has top-end speed. Pass blocking is like Zeke when he came out of Ohio State. I think that's something that should be noted. But Trevion is my favorite player in this draft, and I am biased. Yes, cook me, I don't care. That's all I got. Dylan, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I am unbiased, and I still like Trevion. Taking you back in a time capsule 4 years ago, I was a hater of Trevion, if you guys remember this time frame. I just wasn't giving him his flowers, thought he was overrated. Might have been a little bit of this, the whole, we would argue every day about SEC versus Big Ten and crap. None of that is which is important, but he's a baller. He's got the most explosiveness pretty much in this draft class. You can make the argument for a Jaden Blue or an RJ Harvey or something, but he combines the full skill set with the explosion. He's fun to watch, man. He's fun to watch, man. He's an angle breaker. You can do pursuit drill as much as you want, and you will not be good enough at it to catch Trevion down the sideline. So he's fun. Yeah, I really like him.
Before Drew mentions his favorite player, I do want to plug our running back episode that you three did. So for anybody that likes this running back class and kind of wants an idea of how Cam, Dillon, and Drew feel about this class and the running backs in it, make sure you do check out that running back episode at Party Chat Sports, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, all that fun stuff. But Drew, who's been a guy that you've really fallen in love with throughout this process?
Hardy.
So, I mean, there's a couple obvious ones that I want Cowboys to take with their picks. First of all, being Tedderoa McMillan, but because that's, I don't know, feels a little bit too obvious, I'm going to go with, I'm just going to get both of mine out there, and it is both of the Iowa State wide receivers, Jalen Knoll and Higgins. And really, when that started, when I started noticing them, obviously, was when they played ASU. They got smoked, but you could kind of see, like, especially Higgins in that game, some of the grabs he was making. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good one to, like, keep on the radar and keep my eyes on as we got closer to the end of the season, get into the draft season. So, and then once they got out, into the off season, they both tested really well, both performed well at the Senior Bowl. I think they both were there. Did really well at the combine. I think Noel is like, he had one of those like freaky RAS scores. So both really good prospects, both really good in their own individual ways. Higgins is more of that bigger body possession catch wide receiver, and Noel is a little bit more of the shiftier route runner kind of wide receiver. So I'd love to have either of them on my team, and frankly, that's like, there's not a lot of high-end wide receivers in this class. I know I mentioned McMillan earlier, but like, even if you were to put McMillan in last year's class, like, he's not anywhere near the top. But like, Higgins and Noel make, like what Dillon was talking about earlier, the second round kind of guys. Like, those could be huge gets later in the draft. So.
Who were your guys, Drew? I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's too bad. You're going to have to listen.
Higgins and Noel, they're dogs.
Yeah.
They're definitely dogs, both of them.
I think I'm going to stay on the offensive side, too, with my favorite guy. I mean, big Mac guy, obviously. But Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green is somebody that I really like.
Wow. Is it Toledo guy? Way to take off the helmet. But kind of treasonous.
Have you been paying attention to any of my mock drafts, brother?
No.
All right.
Harold Fannin Jr., he was a fantastic tight end. Led the nation in catches, receiving yards for tight ends. Nobody was more productive than he was. And you can say, well, he's in the MAC. He was still productive.
Tight end, huh?
He was still very productive against the bigger schools that they play, Penn State, Texas A&M. Very athletic. His downfall is he's not a great blocker. So when you're not that great of a blocker coming from the MAC, it's like, all right, you have to really excel at what you do. And I think he does. I think he's a good route runner, good hands. He's pretty athletic. And I mentioned in my Jets mock draft, I had the Jets taking Harold Fannin Jr. in my mock draft, not to spoil the entire thing. But one thing I mentioned is you can line him up more as a glorified slot. And he's going to play that role really well, I think, for some team that's going to grab him. He's not a first-round pick. Like, first round, I think the only tight ends that go first round are Warren and Loveland. But Harold
He's
Fannin Jr.
low-key what Kyle Pitts should have been.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I mean, that's what you're...
smaller,
and
but stronger.
6'3", 240 pounds for Fannin Jr. And his options were either go to the draft or transfer to a bigger school. And I like the fact that he went to the draft. He probably could have gone to a bigger school, put up the same production, or had that same sort of production somewhere else. But good for him, good for the MAC. And when he excels at the next level, I'm be excited for him. So Harold Fannin Jr. has been a guy that has been really fun player for me to watch, and have been watching him since the season. So I guess Drew kind of said two guys, Cam, Dillon. Who's another guy that you guys love before we get into this mock draft?
That's it.
DJ Giddens, dog, for many reasons. All around running back. Go watch the running back video if you want to learn more.
Fair enough.
That's all I got.
I'm also, and I hate to say this, I'm a big fan of Mason Graham. I think he's a really stout up front defensive lineman he's going to go like probably top 5, but he's going to feast for somebody. So
I'll say Kenneth Grant then.
We'll talk about him in like 10 minutes.
Let's get to it. Let's get to the final mock draft of the season here for Party Chat Sports. we're going to go back and forth. So the way this is going to go, Cam's going to have the first pick, Drew's going to have pick 2, Dillon 3, myself 4, and we'll just rotate in that order. So with the first overall pick, Cam with the Tennessee Titans will start this draft.
It's easy. It's Cam Ward. They need a quarterback. That's really it. If those Fortnite clips are true, because now I'm not sure what I believe, it's pretty obvious who they're taking. That's all I gotta say.
He's been a Titan for like a month and a half, so it's
I
fine.
got bamboozled by a lot of fake info out on the fake news out on Twitter.
Adam Scheffer and 27-4 Sports.
I believe the the Fortnite stuff I think was real, Cam. I know
the Fortnite stuff was real, actually. Yes,
it did sound like him. Yes,
where he said Calvin Ridley was like the best wide receiver in the league or something.
Dude,
and then
he said
was like 5.
Yeah, Traylon Burks was like top 4.
Chase Claypool, top 3 wide receiver in the league.
Bro's not even bottom 4. He's bottom 1.
Bro's not even top 4 on his team, if we're being honest.
No. Anyways.
All right.
This has felt inevitable since the Titans didn't address a quarterback position in free agency. They really didn't sign, trade for anybody.
They let Big Rudolph walk. That's how you know.
And that's, for the longest, I thought the Titans were going to make some sort of move, and I thought, the Giants could give up a good haul. It'd be smart for the Titans, but Cam Ward, he's the guy here for Tennessee, I guess.
What are the chances he doesn't go number 1? And we have
I think it's higher than people think.
It's not 0%.
Yeah.
Unless they get Rodgers.
Think about what happened in the Kenny Pickett year, is what I'll refer to it as. All of these quarterbacks were being projected into the top 10, going into the draft, the day of. We're like, oh yeah. This is happening. Boom, boom,
none
boom,
of them
boom.
were a consensus number 1 pick, though, that Cam Ward is.
True.
But I definitely get Jackson Dart vibes are along those lines. And Jalen Milroe, those are 2 guys that probably shouldn't get drafted on round 1, but they're supposed to. But so was Malik Willis. So
I was just thinking of Malik Willis and how are the Lions going to take him with their top 5 pick that year?
Yeah, he was supposed to go. Kenny was supposed to go number 6 to the Saints or something, and it was That
was a crazy.
Matt Corral was supposed to go to the Steelers at 21, him or Sam Howell. Yeah.
He was probably the 3rd.
All right.
XFL guy now.
The Browns are on the clock. Who could they take here? If this was a good quarterback class, they would be taking a quarterback, but it's not. With Cam Ward gone, if Cam Ward's there at 2, that could happen for the Browns if something gets freaky with the first pick. But obviously in this mock it has not. And so what do you do in this situation? Well, you take the best player available. And who do I think is the best player available? I think that is Abdul Carter. Woo! Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett would go sicko mode.
I would be scared.
It would be nuts.
I would be scared.
It has the potential to be very, very scary. And your offense might suck, but if the other team can't score any points because they're getting dominated by Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter, then, you just got to get in field goal range once, and you're good. So that's the plan.
So it feels the Browns having a wide receiver and cornerback as needs, and you're skipping out on the wide receiver cornerback is an interesting choice.
Best player available.
Having the power and the speed at the same time, and somebody that can learn.
Who's Kenny going to throw to?
The physicals?
Okay. No one. They're not playing offense. I just told you that.
Saying. That's a good guy to learn from. Myles Garrett, he's going to start throwing Steelers helmets as quick as you know.
Yeah, he is. He's going to start abusing people on the field, actual breaking of laws. So
this is a great, Lamar Jackson, contain idea. Let's go after Lamar Jackson.
You don't need to worry about containing Lamar Jackson. The playoffs will do that for you.
Got him.
Damn.
All right, that's all I have to say about that.
Hit the ring dingy ding.
Oh, let me reset it here.
No.
Was the ring ding a ding with us?
The ring dingy ding was the friends we made along the way. The Giants are on the clock. The pick is in. And the Giants will be picking Shedeur Sanders. Just not right here. Just not right here. They will pick
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders on round 1. They will trade back into the first round to do it. They will be picking Travis Hunter here because that is such a steal at number 3, probably, if he plays both ways. But the Giants will trade back into the first round and get Shedeur Sanders. But they will pair him first with Travis Hunter in this mock draft and get the Colorado Superstars in New York, which would low-key kind of be interesting to see. I have my reservations about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. If he doesn't play both ways, I don't think he's worth the top pick. But nonetheless, this is the pick here.
I think so. I heard somebody else talking about that too, where if you're not going to play Travis Hunter both ways, he's not worth it.
Like if you're only going to play him at corner, go get Jahdae Barron. If you're only going to put him at wide receiver, go get Tet. I mean,
Most people think he's the best at both.
And I think those people are wrong.
All right, where would you, I know we've had this discussion before, where would you play him if he was just one?
Wide receiver.
Corner.
See, I kind of lean corner.
Wide receiver. Thank you, Drew. Thank
Corner.
you.
You're welcome. Wide receiver is so much more important.
He's more
He
valuable.
is, but he's better at corner than he is at wide receiver.
No, he's
agree.
not.
I'm not sure.
No. What? I don't know where you
He
guys
is.
get this at. I'm not gonna lie.
My-
I have
That's-
no
That's
idea.
literally national media says he's better
Better
at corner.
receiver.
Yeah, playing bum wide receivers. Name 4
Tet.
good receivers that he did not get. Yeah, and he didn't have the
Name
greatest
4
game
good
against Tet.
corners he cooked then. I mean, we can play this game both ways if that's going to be the card you play. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
good against BYU. I'm just saying he makes
Yeah.
circus catches, dude. And him and Neighbors, disgusting.
He
He's a
made.
big guy
I've watched a
All
lot
you
of
need.
Shedeur Sanders tape over the last couple of days out of necessity, not out of want. And most of the highlights are Travis Hunter saving a very poorly thrown ball by Shedeur Sanders. I do think he's good, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. He should not have won the Bednarik or whatever the wide receiver award is.
Bolitnikov.
Yes, that one.
No.
You're close.
It should have been Nick Nash.
So, Patriots here with the 4th pick. I've only been going offensive lineman for the Patriots, and there was a second where I'm like, crap, I'm going to have to decide between offensive lineman and Travis Hunter, so thank you, Dillon, for not making me have to do that.
Travis Hunter's never. Yeah. Like I said, we're being realistic here within reason.
Right. So then it comes down to Will Campbell or Armand Membu, and for the longest time I was going Will Campbell, but his arm length I didn't realize was as small as it is, so I kind of wanted your feedback on
No,
this, Drew.
his arm grew. Remember,
33 inches.
his arm
What?
grew like an inch from the combine to his pro day. So he's fine now.
Apparently that was a common theme across like all pro days, which you expect because it's the pro day. Like
It's
That- to help you out a little
whose
bit.
hands grew? Someone's hands grew like an inch and a half.
But
It might
also
have
they
been
have
Milrow.
one guy at
Kenny?
the combine that like takes the measurements. So he could, if he is like off or reading it differently, because like how do you determine like where exactly the arm stops? Like at what point on the shoulder? Is it the same every time, every single person that's
Is it the
taking
shoulder?
measurement?
Is it the armpit? I mean, there's a big
Yeah.
difference if you
So,
measure from
like,
the top versus the bottom.
I could
I've heard.
see where there's going to be a little bit of discrepancy. He got the 33 inches at the pro day.
See, I think
guess
33
that's
is
like-
a lot.
That's what you want, I suppose. So
If you're measuring from the bottom, that's could be longer.
I don't know. I think he'll be fine.
At,
If you're asking
at
me.
tackle or guard?
I think he'd
Yes.
be fine at tackle.
Wherever he's needed the most.
Because the one thing I kept hearing was if he is drafted as a tackle, he will have the smallest arms for a tackle in the league. Like that's where
That's
he's
okay.
at. So
Yeah.
like my Armand Membu, like for the longest time I thought Will Campbell was the best tackle in this class. And
He
then
is.
like Armand Membu starts rising, and it's like I don't know. I could really see the Patriots taking Membu here if they fear Will Campbell's size. So that's what I'm leaning towards.
I think there's
is
probably a
Armand
few
Membu.
teams that have Membu as tackle one. It depends on what kind of tackle too. Right tackle,
That's the
left
other-
tackle.
And Armand Membu is probably the best pure right tackle. Where Will Campbell, he can kind of play wherever. So, do you want somebody that is great at one position or somebody that is good at multiple? So, give me Armand Membu here for the Patriots at 4.
I would really want to make him a center.
Oh.
Said that before. I
Campbell?
think it'd be interesting.
Could
Will
be
Campbell, yeah.
elite. What's the pick here though? Because we had the chime a while ago.
It's Membu.
Armand
Take a look at the
Membu?
screen.
Membu.
I remember doing mock drafts. I think even my first mock draft a couple of months ago, Membu was like ranked 35 on PFF's board or something, and I was like, oh,
He's
maybe
flown
this team will
up.
take him in the first round or something. He's definitely one of those guys that has gone to the moon.
Yeah, he's been a fast riser.
Membu.
All right, Cam, Jaguars,
Yeah,
5th
thanks,
pick
Tim.
here.
But before we do this pick, we know GMs are stupid, right?
Oh, boy.
Oh boy,
Drew, go ahead.
this is a new GM. So far, he hasn't really been that dumb, and we're not doing the chime anymore. Those just
We only do the chime
Oh,
one time.
okay.
first pick.
All right, well, it's going to be Ted McMillan here. Wide receiver number 1 need. Pair him up
I'm
with
not
Brian
clicking
Thomas.
the button.
Go.
I'm not clicking the button. I'm not clicking the button.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's going to be Ted McMillan, dude. You're going to get a great
It's
duo
not going to be
at
Ted
wide
McMillan,
receiver.
but that's fine.
That's why the Vikings went and got Jordan Addison to pair him up with Justin Jefferson. How's that working out? It's working out great.
How does that
You know,
have
you
to do
go-
with
you-
anything? Why did you have to bring up the Vikings in this scenario? It's
I'm
got
just
nothing to
comparing
do
a
kinda
good
get
young.
it.
I'm comparing a good young duo within a
It's
couple
got
of years
nothing to do
of
with
each
it.
other.
It's got nothing to
kinda-
do with them.
I can see the logic.
It's a young duo, and they're kind of the same receiver. One may be better than the other, or better in different aspects of the game. But I think if you pair Brian Thomas, Ted McMillan,
Do you know who Brian
Ted
Thomas is?
McMillan,
They are
good
not
guy
the
out
same
of
receiver,
LSU,
by the way.
who-
They're not even close.
okay, Brian Thomas
So
is
I
tall.
had. So? I'm short. Doesn't mean I'm like every other short guy.
good route runners, know how to
Yeah, well,
catch
you
the
tell
ball.
'em.
It's a good pick. That's what they're going with.
So I had I believe it was my first mock draft that I did. I think I had the Jaguars taking Ted McMillan with my first one.
And
I
then
can
you
see
learned. And then you learned.
And
didn't
then
do it again.
Because you got bullied in the chat afterwards, probably by Drew. That
The
this
Jags.
is giving,
I will
never
this
give
is
pick
you.
him
giving me
ever
last
again.
I
year
will
He's
give
vibes.
mine.
you $10 if they pick Ted Rowan.
This is
I
giving
will
me
give you
last year
$10.
vibes. So
I'll,
we'll see.
I'll take. Not them. No.
take the
You
bet.
don't have
take
to
the
give
bet.
me anything. I will give you $10 if they
Risk
draft
free.
Ted Rowan.
Risk free.
Not even a bet. You don't have to. You don't owe anything to me.
I mean, doesn't get better than that. I'm now praying for Ted McMillan to go to the Jaguars just so
Oh,
Somebody has to
Thursday
pay
is
up.
going to be fun. It's going to be
I
fun.
can't wait. I really can't.
I'm going to be miserable.
Upsetting that we're not
He's
going
got
to the actual draft this year.
Yeah.
Green Bay's cold.
You ever been to Green Bay?
No, but I'd like to
Wisconsin.
go. That'd be fun.
I actually wouldn't mind going to Lambeau at least once. I feel like that's a town like for a football game that'd be fun to go to just to experience it once. Maybe not like in December.
I'd rather
but
be in a
just stay.
dome.
Nah.
NFL fan thing to do. It's a bucket list.
Same.
Yeah,
So-
I want to
SoFi
go to
or
a
something.
100-year-old.
SoFi
I want to go
Those
to a
are
100-year-old
freaking
stadium
babies,
and
man.
freeze my ass
I know,
off.
they
I
think
didn't, I
it's
said
no
it was
snow.
December, jackass.
Allegiant's pretty cool. Go to Allegiant.
No, December would be sweet.
SoFi would be no, that's just stupid. SoFi would be cool.
I'd go to Legion.
All right, the Raiders are on the clock, and they're taking the
Speaking
guy
of
who
which.
should have gone number 5, Mason Graham. Raiders, you could say Genty here. You could do a lot of things, but I think I've done this before in a mock. Make a strength a strength. I think their D-line with Mason Graham and Max Crosby and the dude that I can never remember his name of, Watson or Watkins or whatever that they got from the Dolphins a year ago. That could be
Yeah.
a solid defensive line and they do need defensive help. So they could take, insert best corner prospect, insert best defensive lineman, insert best wide receiver, insert best running back, whatever. They've got a lot of options. This is the way I would go if I was the Raiders. I think it's a good idea. So that's the Raiders.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah, if Mason Graham falls, I think that's a huge pick. If not, I think that's the easy Genty first landing spot.
That is the first option.
Yep.
So the conversation, and even people have been saying Genty for the Jags, which I think is smoke. But
it could be
the problem with taking Genty higher than like the Bears at 10 is he instantly becomes one of the highest paid running backs in the league. Whereas 10
probably
for the Bears,
justified,
he's like top 15-ish. I mean, if it works out, yes, but there's so much that can go wrong with a young running back that you want to give him top 5 money or whatever, top 6, top 7, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly. Right off the bat before he even plays a snap in the NFL, or do you want to give him maybe top 15, like 15's okay, and then...
Or you get a stud in the second round for like 2 cans of chips.
So like the value from 5 or 6 to like 10 where the Bears are and further down, like there's a huge difference in the value of what you're getting, what you're going to pay him, and what else is available later in the draft. So you could do it, but I think the better value pick of taking Genty is 10 or later.
Well, yeah, but if you like Genty, you take him. If you think he can...
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think if you like Genty, you don't have to take him. It's not like a quarterback. If you like a quarterback and you don't have one, you take him. But if you like Genty's...
Potentially.
I don't know how important
that is. He's the only generational talent. Maybe Hunter.
When's the last generational talent running back to win a Super Bowl before Saquon? Because Saquon obviously just did it, but obviously that Eagles team won it not because of him, but he certainly helped. But
it's been a long time.
It don't matter.
Before that, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time since a running back making over like $2 million.
What did that generational running back do for the Vikings for like 10 years? What did that do for him?
Peterson?
Mm-hmm.
Got to a Super Bowl, lost because of a quarterback.
You got to a Super Bowl?
Don't remember that.
Yeah. Or an NFC Championship, lost because of a quarterback.
Completely different things.
Yeah. That's definitely not the
same. Should have been in a Super Bowl.
Mark Sanchez has been to the championship game too. You don't hear me saying Mark Sanchez has been to a Super Bowl, okay? That's the same thing.
Anyway, Jets on the clock here.
I don't know what the Adrian Peterson hate was for, though.
It's not. It's just a good example. It's not a hate.
Your mouth. That's a terrible example.
It's actually perfect. You said he's a generational running back. I just gave you.
Our team was not ready.
You think Jags are ready or the Raiders? No.
I think the Raiders should draft them because they're stupid. That's who they will draft.
All right, you're just saying stuff now. You're just saying stuff now that don't make sense. All right.
Really? They took that freaking defensive end from Texas Tech,
on
number 9.
The clock.
All right, guys, let's move on.
The Jets are on the clock, and I think they're super happy the way this board broke.
Who's taking?
Dillon.
It's probably me, the one that's talking.
No, for the Raiders. Who's picked?
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham. We were way past this.
It was way too much in the Genty.
It's on the screen, though.
I got confused for a second.
The Jets are on the clock now, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, Gill. I'll give the floor to you after I talk for a second. It shows quarterback as a need. I disagree. It shows wide receiver as a need, but I don't necessarily know that with Ted off the board, you're taking Burden here or Egbuka or Golden.
He doesn't like being called Ted.
That's fine. I don't know the guy, so I can call him what I want to. And, you've mentioned tackle in the past, so I'm going to take Will Campbell for you here. It feels like you're getting you're like super happy that he just fell out of the top 4, top 5 into your lap at 7. And you kind of maybe solved some offensive line issues.
He doesn't look that happy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we could play around with Will Campbell. It just depends, again, on where the Jets view him, because they already have a wild card type offensive lineman in Elijah Barry Tucker, where he's like guard tackle. Will Campbell will be the best. I mean, they do need a right tackle. It's the one position on the offensive line that they need. And if you don't like, I think Armand Membu being gone really throws things off for the Jets. Because I think he'd be the pick if he's there at 7, assuming Mason Graham's gone. If Mason Graham's there, then Mason Graham, you run that card in.
Listen, aren't you the one that took Membu off the board? All right.
Yeah, I'm just
putting that out there.
I did.
He's not being biased. He's not setting it up for himself.
Exactly. Thought about it.
Classic Gill.
Who would do something like that?
Thank you. For the Jets, it comes down to how do you view this tackle class? If you think first tight end class. If you
Gill,
think
you got 3 minutes to talk about this, by the way. I'm putting you on the clock.
No, that's fine. If the Jets view the tackle class like that, they think they can get a starter round 2, then you take the tight end, Tyler Warren. If you don't think you're getting a starter round 2, then you take the tackle here. If it's Will Campbell or Armand Membu. So that's my Jets take, is that it comes down to how you grade this tackle. That's the most important thing.
You're still going Will Campbell here, Dillon?
Good tight ends later on.
Oh, yeah, that's locked in already. Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
locked in. Okay.
Cool.
Because I think you want Fannin in the 2nd or 3rd, so why take Tyler Warren?
Yeah, and that's why I'm fine with taking a tackle at 7, because you have good tight ends you can get later on in the draft.
The Fannin, whoever did that mock of Fannin to the Jets at 7, did you see that?
Fuck, I did not.
It's absolutely diabolical.
I've seen some crazy stuff getting mocked.
It may have just been like a group of guys
stuff.
like doing it in like their basement or something, kind of like what we're doing, except for they're all brain dead. So, but yeah, they had Fannin going.
We're
to the
only
Jets
like
at 7,
half brain dead sometimes.
and some other diabolical picks. But
Cool.
I like it. All right, so Panthers here now on the clock. Tet's gone. I'm going to call him Tet 2. I don't care.
Drew's trying to protect his feelings over here.
you respect my dear Tetaroa.
They need a defensive. They need edge. I really want to help Bryce Young, but they really need defensive help. And if you have an offensive-minded head coach, you might think that you can take an offensive weapon later and develop him.
A lot of wide receivers later.
Yep. So I'm leaning defense. So now it's like, all right, do I take Mike Green or Jade Barron? I'm leaning Barron. The last couple times I've done mocks for the Panthers, I've taken edge. So let's change it up here. Give them the best corner on the board and Jade Barron.
Okay. Isn't Mike Green a local guy for them too? Isn't Marshall over there somewhere?
Marshall. I've done that before, but got to change it up.
Where
sometimes.
is Marshall? Is it in Carolina? One of the Carolinas? Or is it in Kentucky?
I played there,
Is it-
actually. I should know this.
Isn't it in Kentucky?
It's not in Kentucky. I know that.
I feel like
It's where Huntington. It's where Huntington is. Huntington. Marshall is... Nope, that's Marshall's. Sorry.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Huntington, West Virginia.
Huntington,
I thought
West
it was
Virginia.
Virginia because they used to be in the MAC. They used to be in the MAC for a long time.
Yes.
And that makes sense
Don't
why
look
West
up the
Virginia...
stats of that game, please.
West Virginia... What year?
No.
2017, 16. 16, 17.
Incorrect.
In
Both
high
of
school?
those are incorrect.
You guys were in high
It's
school.
Okay,
right.
that's incorrect.
It's literally right
Hey.
on the border of
No, Drew.
West
not
Virginia,
true.
Ohio, and Kentucky.
This is college, so you got 3 years
That's
to look at it.
crazy, actually. The
Well, yeah,
Saints
but
are on the
16's
clock. Who's got the Saints?
Your mom.
Got me.
Cam.
Cam does.
Oh, Cameron.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm thinking about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I really don't know.
You
They
know
never
what you
really
need
have
to
a.
do.
They never. What do I have to do?
You know what you need to do here.
You saying I need to draft Genty?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
There's a recent Saints thing that Dillon is referring to.
Do
You know?
what your heart tells you to do, Cam.
Do something at this point. Jeez.
I think we're gonna go Malachi Starks.
What the?
Get a good defensive player. Because that's probably
Hold
what
on.
they will do.
Hold on. Don't they have like 2 good safeties already?
I don't
No.
think so.
Let me look. I could be
You're
wrong. I mean, I don't know that they
freaking
got good anybody, but
the
they
Honey
got
Badger.
Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu, man. Those are two good players.
The ghost
Tyrann
of
Tyrann Matthew's
Matthew.
old as fuck, dude.
Whoa!
Whoa!
My bad,
That's
my
a
bad,
strike.
my bad.
Our count's
That's
getting
hate
taken out.
speech, brother.
That's a strike. He's only 32, man.
I
He's
feel
only
like he's been playing
That's a
32.
sick-
Am I
forever.
actually locking this in or what?
Yes.
Notice his ADP here. Go ahead and just and then
I'm
Good?
gonna say
Good
yes.
with that?
Still, go with it.
okay, that's crazy.
Dang it, dude. Oh,
By the way, Cam does have the Steelers pick too.
I know he does. This is why we can't do it. This is why we can't handle that.
Hey, Dillon, you did say the Saints haven't picked a quarterback in like 50 years, so they're
That's
they're
fine.
continuing the.
I agree.
Keep going.
That's okay.
I'm not
But
giving him Shadur.
the 20
That's-
ADP safety is also not on the cards, I don't think, but it's okay. It's fine.
That
Whatever.
has been the rumor, though, Shador to the Saints. So, or
It has
some
been the rumor.
quarterback.
That would really hurt. I've been saying this entire draft process that only one quarterback is going to go top 10. Shador to the Saints is like the thing that's going to bite me in the ass. I'm sticking to that take because
You were right
I
I
thought
last
you
week.
said one QB in the first round, or am I wrong?
it's been the top 10. I think I've been 2 QBs in the first round.
Okay.
All right. Bears take Genty.
Yep. Great pick.
Plain and simple.
I mean, I think that's Genty's
Stupid.
floor. I think that's his floor.
I think this is where you start getting to the value is right for the money. The Bears have been trying to address the offensive line in free agency and trading. I think they made a couple trades. You also have Ben Johnson, who his most effective weapons on the Lions were Sonic and Knuckles. So I think, maybe you try to replicate a little bit of that over on the Bears. And running backs are good for young QBs. It's easy to take some of the weight off them, hand them the ball a few times, and hopefully, especially with Genty, you hope that's not just like a wasted play to get him some space, get him some time to rest, but actually high production plays. So I think Genty going to the Bears is a good pick. Could they make a more impactful pick or valuable pick? Probably with the 10th overall, but I think with the caliber of player that Genty is and could be, and kind of where they're at, I think that's not a bad pick. So
It'll make a good 1-2 punch, him and Swift.
yes,
I like it. I like Genty.
and they still have
Bears.
Roshan Johnson.
Yeah, they did. They
Just
did.
broke stuff.
He's gonna break out at some point
Be a good trade candidate.
for like a bag of chips, maybe. You think someone's gonna give up a lot for year 3 Roshan Johnson when this draft class is chilling?
No.
All right. Glad we got
All
that
right,
covered.
Dillon, 49ers.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea who the 49ers will take here. You got guard tackle as their top needs, and that Josh Simmons is your top tackle on the board with Kelvin Banks at the moment. It just feels a little early for that. I could be wrong.
They frequently take edge.
Yeah,
wide receiver.
I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna ignore the ADP and I'm gonna go Walter Nolan here. I think he goes higher than expected. Given the strength of the D-line class, I mean the D linemen are going to go at some point. So I think he surprises everybody and goes a little early. Walter Nolan, top of the board, goes to the Saints. Not the Saints, the 49ers. My bad.
Maybe the Saints. Who knows? So, Drew, walk me through what you think with the Cowboys before I make this pick.
I think Tedderella McMillan goes 12 to the Cowboys.
Well, he's not available, so.
Flop.
If he's not there, which it's possible.
Let me ask you this: Is he inevitable?
No. It's very likely though. A lot more likely than all you bums want to think. So,
I
The fuck you looking at me for?
I'm pretty sure I mocked.
Whoa!
No, I actually didn't mock Ted. Never mind.
it's all right. No, I think if Tedero is gone, that's where it starts getting a little scary. Because, do you want to go and get something like Luther Burden, even farther like a Mecca Ibuka or Matthew Golden Golden gets mocked to the Cowboys all the time. It wouldn't be that surprising.
Local
Another
boy
option
in the
is
backyard.
Jihad Campbell is another one. I've mocked Will Johnson.
I was about to ask about like Will Johnson because
that made that one dude really upset.
That dude was really mad. So, in respect of that one guy, let's not take Will Johnson here. Josh Simmons has been getting a lot of hype from the Cowboys lately, which is, I think, unfortunate.
We've kind of talked about him like moving into guard.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you love Tedoroa, but do the Cowboys love him? Like, did they go to his pro day? Did they bring him in for a visit? That sort of
Probably
thing.
not.
Yes, they do. They're interested in both Tedoroa and Matthew Golden.
Okay.
So I think if it's going to be a receiver, it's going to be one of those.
He's not picked. How soon do we need to call you? Like right away, or make sure you're
if
okay?
it's Golden, don't call me. If it's some random person or a linebacker, maybe you can call.
And then when do we call 911?
If it's offensive line, you can call immediately.
Okay.
Which offensive line is definitely important, but in this draft specifically, at 12, I'm good. I can wait. Especially not over like. I don't love Golden at 12. Like I was really hyping up Golden as he was like we were watching the college football playoffs
for like a couple weeks.
But like he ran that 4.29 and it became something it should never have been.
Well, it became the whole thing that he doesn't actually play like that.
Exactly. So I think I'm scared. I'm scared of him at 12. But if it's the pick, like whatever, it is what it is.
I think he'd still be
do
good.
what you want to do, man. Do what you want to
scroll
do.
up here.
Let's go.
I think he'd still be good.
Scroll up this way.
Yeah.
I still like Golden. He's one of my favorite players still.
So one thing I had said in our last mock draft,
Antonio Holmes vibes. Sorry.
You're not always drafting for today's needs. Sometimes you draft for tomorrow's needs. And there is a star player that could possibly be on his way out. Maybe Jerry Jones is maybe a little fed up with some of the things that this particular player has said about said organization. Maybe runs his mouth a little bit too much, so you might need that replacement. So here at 12, give me Mike Green out of Marshall.
That's fine.
And then opens up the door to move on to Mike Parsons.
He used to be on the Mike
but
Green
he's not
for a while.
He's not a Mike replacement. Mike is staying.
He's his teammate. He's his rush buddy.
Yes.
Rushing buddy.
Forever
and ever.
Then,
all right.
now, forever. Sorry. Cam!
Dolphins.
What?
Cam!
Dolphins. You got the Dolphins.
I was
right?
waiting for the. I was waiting. Okay.
Don't say you were waiting for the jingle. Don't say that.
Before you say anything, I do want to point out, this is the same spot the Dolphins took, what's-his-face, the gas mask a couple years back. They had picked 13 when they picked him.
That feels like a weird
Campbell taken?
Laramie Tunsil.
Just
Will
saying.
Campbell is taken. He's been off the board for like an hour.
He only went 10 picks ago. Or whatever it was. No, it wasn't that many.
It
was like
6, but
Well,
still.
I think if you're going to lose Ramsey,
But he's
as
on
much
the
as I
sticks in the
hate to
background.
do it, I think they're going to take Will Johnson here. Kind of replenish that cornerback, get somebody on a rookie deal, make him happy.
He was just taking the first will available.
It's a good one. It's actually a good one.
Thanks.
Solid joke. I don't hate that.
That's
I
fine.
think
I'm
it's
cool with
fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Continue
Ramsey's
letting
going to
people die
be
with
gone.
no
You're
offensive
probably going to
lineman.
get another one.
Their offensive line is terrible.
I got
think that's
yelled at
another
for
route.
that. There was somebody in one of our comments that yelled at me for who did I have them taken? Was it Banks? He's like, get out of here with this Banks talk.
Yeah.
Was he a Dolphins
Banks.
fan?
Yeah.
Look at the depth chart, buddy.
No, are you sure?
You have no one.
Are you sure it was Dolphins that? I remember that though. He was like, "I'm so tired of people mocking Banks."
Listen,
find it.
man.
Let
Like,
me find
doing?
it.
First round offensive line is not exciting. I will give you that. I've experienced plenty. But
Dude,
sometimes
that's been my year for like 2 years in a row.
sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes
It was a
you just
Dolphins
gotta
fan.
do
It was not to call you out, Daniel, but Daniel Meehan. Enough already with. You
Not
can go
call
to the
you out, but
comments.
you provided his government name.
It's Daniel Meehan, 1756.
Oh my!
I mean, you can look. Go
Hey,
to
you know what?
YouTube. It's in the
Hey, Daniel.
comments.
Daniel, this one's
We
for
appreciate
you.
you listening. We
This
appreciate
one's
you
for you,
listening.
Daniel.
By the
Love you,
way.
Daniel.
No O-line.
Okay.
You get corner instead.
What's your thought on Will Campbell? Let us know,
But-
Daniel.
He said, and I quote, "Enough already with Kelvin Banks to Miami. Paul is our LT. Greer isn't drafting OG at 13." So it's like, all right, well, I guess he believes that they have a solution already in house after
Maybe.
the retirement of.
To his brain says the line has not been that good.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
to be fair, like if you're in this spot as the Dolphins and you don't think Banks or Simmons is like an actual good tackle, then yeah, I could see you passing on him because you're probably not taking guard at 13 unless they're like generational. So like I don't think a tackle conversion into guard would kind of count as being a guard you can't pass up on. But if they see Simmons or Banks as a starting tackle, I could definitely see the Dolphins going offensive line. But in this one, they didn't. They go Will Johnson. I think that's still a good
I'm
pick.
still fine with that.
I think that's a good
Especially if they
pick.
do.
I think that's a good pick.
Especially like you alluded to, Cam. They might move off of Jalen Ramsey, so they do need somebody.
You're gonna get
fill
a
those
good
shoes.
either second or third, to be honest.
Colts are on the clock.
Yes, they are, Drew.
Colts are on the clock, and they're taking Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
They've been
Huge.
kind of in the tight end space.
Dallas Clark
Last
vibes.
year, they got a lot of Brock Bowers.
I was just
mocks.
thinking of that.
And so I think this is the time they can go ahead and get their tight end. I'm not exactly a Tyler Warren fan. I'm not a fan. But I watched him a few times, and I never thought, wow, that guy's special.
First round tight end that isn't like a superstar always feels not fun.
Yeah. Like,
But-
he's good at a lot of things, but he's not Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like is Tyler Warren going to be better than a guy like Pat Fryermuth? Just for example.
Yes.
I mean, I think
Possibly.
the argument is maybe. Definitely could see it both ways. But like Pat Fryermuth was like a late second round pick. So you're picking this guy at 14. He better be a game changer if you're picking him at 14. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at here.
Especially with this tight end class. Like, Colston Loveland you can get later in the first round, at least. Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin Jr. Like, there's good tight ends that you can get later. Which is why I made the case I did about the Jets, where
You need Warren to
take
be
one or don't.
about top 7, probably.
You
for
need him
this
to have
be...
Brock Bowers, similar to Brock Bowers' production. Now, you're not expecting exactly, but
Well, you're not going into it thinking he's going to break the record like Browers
Well, I
did.
think-
right. But you're
I think
hoping
you're not
that he does have
trying to
that
draft the
impact.
next, like, I don't think anyone thinks Warren is the next, like, Bowers because they're so different.
No,
But, like,
But if you draft a
I
tight
think
end,
he's
this
more
high,
like
is
a
my
Kittle.
argument.
He's more like a Kittle. So if
Yeah.
he can replicate what Kittle's doing, then maybe you
Yeah.
got a good pick.
And I do like that because he is a good blocker. Like, he
Pat
can be an extension of the
Fryermuth
offense.
and Tyler Warren averaged the same amount of yards per game their final season of college. Just putting that out there.
Really like
That's
that count,
interesting.
don't you?
Both Penn State guys. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Solid. I'm
Good comparison.
finding it interesting. Solid
And I
work
feel
there.
like Pat's he's a good tight end. I'd say he's above average. He's near that top 10 range, but there's also not that
Falcons are
many
on the clock.
game-changing 10. Who?
Falcons are on the
Falcons?
clock.
All right, the Falcons. This is me. The last time I've picked for the Falcons, I stayed at home in the state of Georgia, And I'm going to do the same thing, except a different
Georgia.
player. This is going to be Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Linebacker, off-ball edge, flexibility. He's been rising up draft boards very quickly, and I think it's for good reason. He's a playmaker. Of the Georgia games I do watch, he's running all over the defense. He can play in a lot of different spots, and I think he would be a good piece to add to that Falcons defense. Last time I picked Mykel Williams, I think he's fallen a little bit on the draft boards. But Jalen Walker, really good player. Really good player.
I think that's a good pick, and I will say Jalen Walker is kind of like he's a unique player in that he's not an edge, and he's not a full-time edge. He has pass rushing capabilities, but not like all the time.
Yep.
And he has ability to play linebacker as well, off-ball linebacker. And so one of like the things that Check the Mike talks about is a defense like they have in Atlanta would be one of the better fits for him, where he can kind of be both linebacker and edge. He won't be like set into one and only have to like. That's one of the few situations, one of the better situations for him to go into, where he could do a couple things. And I will say Cam, Vikings is another one. I don't think he's making it to you, but that's another defense where Jalen Walker could succeed.
It'd be nice, especially with Flores being there forever.
Yeah,
he's a good player. He's a good player. He can do a lot of stuff for you.
Solid work. Drew, can you click analysis real quick for this Cardinals pick? Just trying to get an idea of like
analysis.
Whoa, can't say I've ever clicked on analysis.
Where do you see that button now?
Right next
to the right of trade. Whoa, I've never looked at this before ever.
Nearby.
Like just kind of
Will
get
Johnson.
an
That's
idea
interesting.
of,
I was going to tell you that the radio guys, at least the morning ones, they like Will Johnson. That's what they want. So
I need to.
I mean, I could see it.
Look at this more often. This is sick.
That's pretty cool.
I like it because
I wish I could go
gives
back.
you an idea of,
but I can't.
Right. Because I don't know the Cardinals that well. So who else do they kind of like? I mean, 3 of those 4 guys are off the board. I don't know if I like Kenneth Grant here.
Kenneth Grant would be
Josh
good.
I've done Josh Simmons a couple
Josh
times,
Simmons
so I'm
could
debating
be.
on.
Yep, that's another one.
That's what I do all the time.
Golden could be another one because they have Marv, but they really don't have like a number 2.
Or
so
3 or
Golden
4.
will be, and he'd be a better complement to Marv as well. So Simmons,
like Burden?
Not they mostly talked about Golden, not Burden necessarily. I mean, Burden would be fine. I like Burden, but
I think Burden's a wild card as to where he's going to go.
I think Kenneth
I've
Grant would be a
seen
good
so
one.
much.
I mean, you could even give him edge. Like they just got Josh Sweat, but I don't know if they like the signing. I don't know if I would call that done and good, but so there's a couple options. But they have needs. Like they say this, I've heard other people say it too. But like the Cardinals they don't have like a massive hole that needs to be filled, but they definitely need like high end playmakers. Like they have a decent base, but not like the high end guys. So if you find like the best, what you think is the best like impact player, whether it's offense or defense, like they're going to be able to play.
Okay. See, I'm just going to stick with Josh Simmons. That's been my pick for the Cardinals this entire time. I'm going to keep it chalk. And I still like the connection between him and the Cardinals offensive line coach. Like, that's one thing I keep going back to. And we said this early. If anybody's going to know if he can translate to guard, the best guy that's going to know that is the Cardinals offensive line coach, Justin Fryer. So we'll keep that to pick.
Yep, that's a good one, and they'd be good with that too. Mm-hmm. They talk about him a lot as well. So
you hit on the first one, so I might as well get another Ohio State guy. You will play together too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bungles.
The Bengals are picking Kenneth Grant here. Time to get your defensive interior built back up. I think it's going to be a great pick.
That would make me depressed.
I think about Geno Atkins. He's a little bit smaller, but, they're kind of the same size. Kenneth Grant is very, very strong. I liked Kenneth Grant before he started getting higher up on draft boards. I picked him in a couple. Put the helmet aside.
Over
Tyleek,
but now I do want
him over
Tyleek really,
Tyleek
really bad. If I can get him.
They which one of the two is smaller, Cam?
I'm pretty sure Gino is like smaller height wise.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gino is a lot smaller. He's 2 inches shorter and 40 pounds lighter. So Kenneth
Talking
Grant's
about-
a big dude. Kenneth Grant's a big
Yeah,
dude.
he's huge.
Be
This
better
would make
Jalen
me,
Water, guys.
this would make me
Or Jalen,
depressed.
not Jalen North, but Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
He,
this scenario in general, like the way this draft's unfolding, if it unfolded this way, Dylan, you would be shitting yourself.
I would be so scared right now. I would be terrified in my little boots.
All right.
And I did it to
What are you
myself. You know, I took Walter Nolan off the board. Yeah, I know what I've done. But I don't know what.
All right, Drew, Seahawks.
Seahawks, they need offensive line. Seems like they always need line, whether it's offense or defense. With the way it's falling so far and who's available, I'm going to pass on offensive line. And I'm going to give them Donovan Ezeraku, the edge out of
That's how
Boston
you
College.
see that name?
Remember when we were
Yes, I
sleeping
believe
on this
so.
guy last time, and then we looked up
We
his
were
I
stats?
sleeping
didn't know how
on
to
him.
pronounce his name.
We were sleeping on him, and he has like insane production at Boston College. It's one of those things where like you have a guy like what's his freaking face out of Texas A&M who dominated the combine, but had 3.5 sacks his entire career, and then you've got a guy like Ezeraku who, for us at least, maybe that's probably on us for being dumb, but he flew under the radar. You go ahead
we
and
got
look
him
at his
now.
production
But we
of the
got him now.
season, and he had a fantastic season. I think that's the kind of guy you want to take a chance on. You can probably find, guards and specifically guard and center, like that can be had later. As soon as you get into the later rounds, it's going to be harder to find those difference maker edges.
Yeah.
So I think take the edge now and try to get your other needs later.
I think that's a valid point about the guard and center. They can find that later. Like the good teams know how to build the offensive line day 2, day 3. And you have to bank on yourself being one of those good teams and being able to draft those guys later. So don't reach for offensive linemen. Now, tackle is a little bit different.
Tackle is
But even
different.
then, you can still find some good tackles later. But like guard and center, yeah, you can definitely find them. The good teams know how to find them later.
Yep.
All right, Dylan, you got the Bucks here at 19.
Yes, I do. And they are running the card up here for Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. Would you like to guess how many inside linebackers they have on the depth chart as of this moment in time?
Two?
Probably not a lot. Maybe Levante.
is 2.
No,
One.
Levante.
It is
higher.
2.
Oh,
It is 2 inside linebackers. Good job. And the second inside linebacker's name is J.J. Russell. He has less than 50 career tackles.
okay. Let's
So
go, Russell.
they need a
He's
linebacker
up
bad.
next.
Devin White didn't work out. Jahad Campbell, I think, fits right in, and he will do well on the Buccaneers team. So I feel really good about that pick.
Todd Bowles likes his defense too.
Mhm.
Likes his linebackers, likes his safeties.
And Levante David's
I would-
like getting up there, So
They
He's got
definitely need
1
that
or 2 years
replacement.
left. Max.
Probably.
I think that's pretty
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Good guy to learn from, too. Very
Yeah.
smart guy.
So
Mhm.
mold him into the next, lead of your defense for a decade.
All right, so Broncos here at 20. Emeka Ibuka. I think this is a good spot for him. You're kind of right in that range of like his rank and average draft position. Solid wide receiver, good route runner. I think he's going to complement Cortland Sutton pretty well, and Sean Payton's going to find a way to use him. You got to get weapons for Bo Nix. So Emeka Ibuka's a pick here at 20, and here's the one I've been waiting for. Cam, you're on the clock. Steelers 21.
Oh, boy. Who do the
Praise Hale
Steelers
and praise
need?
Dale.
This is
Who
a
do
live
the
look at what I'm going to
Steelers
look like
need?
on Thursday, by the way.
Hey, quarterback? Ooh. There is the national championship winning quarterback in this draft still. I think And I truly think the Steelers are going to go Matthew Golden here. Get another guy to pair up with George Pickens. Help out whatever
Other than
quarterback
DK?
you get.
And DK?
Do you
And
remember?
DK, so
Yep. Okay. All right.
DK is probably going to be like a couple-year rent.
Buddy,
That's all you need, brother?
Three is better than two.
buddy, we just signed him to a 5-year deal. If you did not remember, I'm fine. Just we keep going.
I like Matthew Golden to get 3 receivers. I think it's time the Steelers go away from the ground and pound a little bit.
Just on the
and,
ball.
We'll see. We're going to find out. Mason Rudolph's back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph slinging the rock, dude.
Bro,
You know, this could be a good selling point for Rodgers to come play.
desperate times call for
that.
desperate measures. Okay,
Rodgers gets Pickens,
we're in deep, man. We're in deep.
Metcalf, and Golden.
Just find whoever is available that has the biggest arm to just chuck bombs, and one of them will get it.
Jalen
There
Milrow
you
in
go,
the second
perfect.
round. Actually.
Setting up nicely. Good draft, Cam. They're gonna take Milrow and just chuck bombs.
Here's what I'll say. I actually love Matthew Golden. He was on my short list of my favorite prospects in the beginning of the episode. I don't think they're going to go wide receiver just simply because we basically just spent our second round pick on a wide receiver and getting DK Metcalf, so we're probably not going to go first round wide receiver, although I think it was much more likely a couple weeks ago, but I think he could be the pick. He did come in for a pre-draft visit, I'm pretty sure, so no, I love him. I think he reminds me a lot of Santonio Holmes, who was a great player. So I'd be okay with it. It wouldn't make any bit of sense, but I'd be okay with it if it was the pick. And it probably would be a selling point and be like, hey, Rodgers, we just did what the Packers didn't do for you for like 20 years. So why don't you come on over?
Kirk.
But I don't give a
Brock Purdy got his weapons.
dude.
Let Kirk cook.
I've never seen a quarterback situation so bad. I've never seen it in my life. This is insane. How we've gone to rock bottom. Like I thought it couldn't get worse, and every year it's gotten worse.
You remember when I was wanting Trevor Siemian to start games?
That was the spark. You put in Trevor Siemian to spark the team.
I am scared, yeah, for what will happen if the Steelers will draft a quarterback in this class. It's a matter of when. I think they really want to trade down to like 30, 31 and maybe get a quarterback at 30 or 31 if there's one still on the board, or they really like Derek Harmon, who's still on the board here. I understand why that wasn't the pick. I'm fine with it. I think they really like Derek Harmon, and then we'll try to get a second round pick somehow to take a quarterback, and if they don't, it's probably likely that they'll take like a Will Howard or a Quinn Ewers anywhere between rounds 3 through 5, which Quinn Ewers would absolutely ruin my brain. But yeah, also George Pickens only has one more year left on his deal, so like this pick with Matthew Golden would be like a George Pickens replacement eventually. They probably won't extend him because he's got CTE already, but they could. Sorry, just move on. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Hey, I'm Matthew.
All right.
Dillon, you
Good
might
Madden
need to
team.
have a face cam on when your pick comes up.
I will. I will record
You're like
myself.
the Cam of this year. Like we
I
need
am.
your reaction.
No, I will record myself. I'll have to be on it though. Like every time they announce a trade, I'm gonna have to like quickly put up my phone because if they trade up, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I'll just be on standby all night. All night, I'll be ready.
We'll get a space time going.
It's gonna suck,
Chargers. I clicked the analysis button and that kind of swayed me
I should have
from
done that
what
for
I
the
was
Steelers. Dang it!
probably from what I was looking at. So, if for those of you that didn't miss it
tomorrow.
during Dylan's rant, Colston Loveland is by far the favorite again, this is fans doing the mocks. This is people using the simulator. So not like this isn't like a prediction of what they think the Chargers will do. This is just what the
it's not
fans
a prediction.
will do. And I will give the fans what they want. Colson Loveland, tight end, which I think they could use anyways. Michigan man for Jim Harbaugh.
Makes a lot of sense.
There it is.
Makes a lot of sense.
I like it. I think if Golden would have fallen one more spot, that would probably be the pick. You know, I'm fine with going Loveland over Burden. I would be also fine with taking Burden there. But any of the receivers or, like I said, Loveland or for whatever reason, if frickin' Warren were to fall this far. But anyway, some sort of offensive playmaker for Herbo to throw the ball to is going to be a good pick.
I think I've done this at least once where I had the Chargers taken Loveland.
That's how Jim likes it.
I like it. He likes the mission of getting him in. Cam. Sorry, Dillon, Packers.
I still haven't gathered my thoughts. The simulator says wide receiver is a need, but I just don't see it. They have.
You want to see the analysis?
Yeah, let's see the. Oh, I can look at my own screen. Egbuka not here. Yeah. Nolan not here. Luther Burden here. I don't think that's the pick though. James Pierce. They do need edge, and James Pierce is up here. I could definitely see James Pierce, and we'll go with that for the pick. I just don't see wide receiver to the Packers. They have Jaden Reed, they have Christian Watson, they have Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, even Bo Melton is like a cool number 5 to have. I mean, I don't see another wide receiver fitting onto that depth chart.
They use all of them too.
Yeah, they do. So, yeah, James Pierce, that'll be cool for them.
He's a good production guy. The only thing is like the off-field issues. So like, if you convince yourself that's not a problem, then it's a good pick.
He's in Green Bay. What are you going to do? In Green Bay, there's nothing to do.
He can't get in trouble. It's too cold.
Just walk to work. I mean, you're good.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive. Don't get behind a wheel. You're solid. No worries there.
Well, he's not a short player. He can drive.
SEC.
Anyway.
Cam, I know kind of some of your thoughts here with the Vikings, but just walk me through what you're thinking with the way the board's broken so far.
Kwesi said he was going to go best available. Safety wouldn't hurt.
Player.
Running back wouldn't hurt. I did take one of the guys in that spot.
You had a hater. So your chance
you did
to
have a
out.
big hater, yeah.
Do you want me to pull this in real quick?
No, I think he needs to understand when we get our running back, they last for multiple years. Adrian Peterson, Dalvin Cook. Hampton would be a nice
pick. Was Aaron Jones
here.
not your running back, or is it you have to draft
Hampton
him?
would be a great pick here.
Yeah.
But I really think since we are going to trade back, just because I want to set who we are actually going to pick, and I love the pick. I think we're going to get Xavier Rhodes and Benjamin Morrison.
Okay.
We'll trade back.
I was confused. I'm like, why are you drafting
That's
Xavier
not what's happening
Rhodes
here.
Stuff?
That's not what's happening here.
Benjamin Morrison has an ADP of 53.
That's okay.
Injury and relevance.
I don't think he's the best corner on the board at the moment, but that's okay.
Can you show me the analysis real quick?
I can.
Please. Okay.
Oh, too bad that guy's not around anymore.
I almost forgot he existed. That was so long ago.
Kind of crazy. See, I was kind of thinking defensive line, but you guys did a good job fixing up the defensive line. I don't know if I want to go running back. I mean, I know you kind of
just such a boring pick, but he would be fine.
He'd be fine. Yeah, running back's not fun. You know what? Just for that, give me Trey Amos. You guys do need a... You're not on the mic, Drew.
Sorry. I said, how is Hampton boring?
Hampton's
I
very
mean,
fun.
he's gonna be fun, but like playing with him in Madden with 90 speed, it's not gonna be fun.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's how we're basing
I'm
this off
just
of.
kidding. I'm
Trey
kidding.
Amos.
I'm kidding.
Trey
I'm going
Amos
with-
is
Okay.
good. He is good.
Yes.
I'm going
I
under
promise.
the belief that you guys are not getting Jalen Ramsey. Until that happens, I'm going defensive back here for the Vikings.
I don't even think you should want Jalen Ramsey, but
I think he's buns. I think he's cooked.
he is. He's done. Put a fork in him.
Depends on the dollars.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would
Maybe.
owe him, but I think that's
Did
good
he
pick.
play with Flores?
Ramsey?
Yeah.
Probably
Yes.
not.
No,
I don't know.
maybe? I don't know.
Because Tua was
Flores
there.
was
And Ramsey
there,
was
like,
there
That
the whole
was a
time.
long time ago, man. He's only been
4
a
years ago,
He's only been
5
a
years
Dolphin
ago.
for 2 years.
Was Ramsey
Yeah.
not there with Tua? At
No,
the
he
start?
was
He's been
in,
there for 2 years.
He was in L.A.
Flores
LA.
hasn't been the coach for the Dolphins for like 4 years. Maybe 3. But
Oh, well.
nonetheless.
It was close. It was a good thought. Oh, it's me now. Texans. All right. Luther Burden.
Yep.
Ooh,
That's a good
actually,
pick.
I don't know.
Oh,
Actually,
I
I
already
don't know.
clicked
Actually, I
it.
don't know.
Dang it, man.
Well, I didn't. I didn't, and I'm the one controlling the real one.
Jackass.
Because I remember that they completely gutted their offensive line during the offseason for some reason.
They only got 2 needs,
So-
so that's impressive, but it's just OL. It's all of them. It's not even guard or
they only
tackle,
have
it's OL.
they have one need by position, but it's 5 guys because their offensive
Nice.
line is terrible. They're like the Dolphins. Shout out to that one guy that Gill outed.
Thanks for listening to the channel, by the way.
You might be. Probably not.
I think
You just dropped
you
hate.
have a
Maybe
couple
not
good
after
options.
this.
You have a couple good options in Gray Zabel.
Look at us,
Kelvin
though, able
Banks,
to shout out subscribers now. Wouldn't have thought that was
Luther
possible
Burden.
a year ago.
Which one's more fun?
We
Luther
love all of
Burden's
our
way more
subscribers.
fun.
Thank you.
Luther Burden's more fun.
But
Yeah, and you don't have Diggs anymore, so bring him in.
good,
Bring
you
him in.
didn't need him.
Bring him home.
Wide receiver 1.3 Diggs.
But it was wide receiver 3 when freaking Tank Dell was healthy, which he may never be healthy again. So I think that's
That's
kind
so
of
sad.
like an issue.
That is another.
So, Bird.
And that's why I would pick Burden,
Touch.
and that's why I'm gonna pick Burden.
Oh,
There
okay.
you
All right. hit us with like 4 pump fakes there.
But I could very well see like Kelvin Banks would be a good pick. Gray Zabel would be a good pick. Whatever, like they need the offensive line help bad. And whatever one you pick in the first one, you can probably find a decent other version in the second round. Like, can you get a Higgins or a Knoll or a whoever else later in the draft? I'm sure you could. So there's options to be had, but we're going Burden here.
Cam, I really hope you would have taken Burden because we skipped over you.
This is
He
why we
was
needed
talking
it to
during the
write.
Vikings pick.
This is why we needed to write it
Oh.
down.
He was talking during the Vikings pick, which then made it seem like he made that Vikings pick.
That's
So, Cam, you got the Rams
Pick
pick
Burden. He was rooting for Burden.
wait,
That's what he
who-
wanted.
Cam, you were
That was
supposed to
your
pick
pick.
for Houston, and
That
Drew
was your
didn't.
pick.
Yeah, I know. I get that part, but who am I picking for now?
I think it was
Rams, the next team on the clock.
Rams? Why?
Rams.
Unless
Yes.
you don't want
Okay.
the Rams, I don't.
I
No,
mean, you
No,
can
I'm a
say
little-
Burden was your pick if you want.
Burden was my pick for the Rams, but here's what I'm going to do.
Oh, okay.
You mean for the Texans?
I know what you mean. Go on. What are you going to do for the Rams?
I'm going to give him Josh Connerly. Get that O-line a little bit built up. That's it. That's all I got to say on them.
You know who I actually think could go right here? Is Shadur Sanders.
I
Or
can see
Jackson
it.
Dart. I've seen Jackson Dart mocked here a lot.
I don't
Kelvin
think so.
Banks just keeps falling.
I know it needs to stop.
Kind of crazy.
Needs to stop.
Dillon, you got the Ravens here.
Josh Connolly was the pick. Sorry, I'm behind him.
Yeah.
The Ravens. They are going to pick Gray Zabel. Well, Oh, too late. All right, I'm fine with it.
They
Gray
already
Zabel.
locked it in, man.
Yeah, no, Gray Zabel is North Dakota State is such a Ravens pick, man. It's just it's so Raven. That's so Raven.
That's so
Um,
Raven.
They have offensive line need, and he fills it.
He's one of those tackle conversions. Could play guard.
Yes.
Could play center.
Yes.
I think he did all of it at North Dakota State.
He did.
And he had one of the best, if not the best, Senior Bowl performance. So that's why he's shot up into the first round here.
Yep.
Can you show me the analysis on the Lions real quick?
This is where the Giants will be trading up to get Shadur Sanders. Shadur Sanders will go in the first round, and the way the board is playing out, he's not going to get picked with these next 5 picks. So I'm saying it. Someone will trade up into this back half of the first round and pick either Sanders or Jackson Dart or something. Sanders isn't going in round 2, that's for sure. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do with the Lions here. They need defensive help. So that's a good place to start. You're getting Aiden Hutchinson back from injury, but you still need another edge, and he's still coming back from an injury. So now I'm debating between the 2 edges from Texas A&M. And Shamar Stewart's really falling, but he didn't have a lot of production, did he?
No, that's the 3.5 sack guy. That's the 3.5 sack, but Myles Garrett level testing.
Yes.
I could see the Lions falling in love with testing, though, and being like, we can get the best out of him.
I think that's possible.
So, give me Shamar Stewart here. His fall stops, and
I think at 28 it might be worth it. I mean,
yeah.
If there's no one else you love, like, take a chance on insane production, and if it works, you hit a home run. If it doesn't, like, hopefully you can at least contribute.
I was kind of thinking wide receiver here, but the wide receivers that are good here are more like Amon-Ra built, where they're a little bit smaller. I don't think they really have that big body guy, unless you're trying to find another speed demon.
Jaden Higgins.
I thought about Higgins, but I feel like that's a little early for Higgins, is it not?
It's probably not.
I've seen him go end of the first.
Okay.
I think if
somebody
you go based
will
off his ADP here.
Somebody will go first round that you don't normally see. It always happens.
See, I'm still sticking with Stewart. I mean, it's already locked in, but that's kind of what I was debating was, is there a wide receiver that they'd go and get here? And I wasn't a fan of the Lions' options as much as going and getting a...
I was talking to my cat, not you.
I was like, I hear you. I see the lips moving, but... All right. Commanders, Cam, you're back on the clock.
We're going back into Morrison here. Got to get a corner. Corners are kind of sus on your team. Get a good one that's aggressive, since he wasn't actually.
It should have been Maxwell Hairston.
It's going Benjamin Morrison. He's going to be healthy, and the only reason he's dropped is because he wasn't healthy last year. So.
He can go join Emmanuel Forbes in the legacy of the Commanders.
He ain't that skinny. That dude's like 2 pounds.
The joke here is that Emmanuel Forbes got cut already.
Oh, I think he's going to get cut.
I just think Hairston's a better pick, but it doesn't matter.
It's been made. It's been done. Bills.
It's done.
Drew.
Who are we getting for the Bills here? There's a couple players like Kelvin Banks who have fallen. Hampton even, which I don't think they would pick Hampton, but potentially with the James Cook. I don't want to call it a controversy yet, but he clearly wants a newer, bigger deal. I don't know if the Bills want to give it to him. So if they think that they are not going to give him a deal, they could go Hampton here. Some other options I've been considering are Jaden Higgins. I still don't think they have an answer at wide receiver, so they could go that route. They could go with a Nick Scourton as an edge player. Maybe Micah Williams. I wouldn't pick Michael Williams. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Jaden Higgins because it's fun and I like Jaden Higgins.
Good reasoning.
So,
Sound
going
as
to the
I've
Bills,
heard
I like
tonight.
Jaden Higgins. I do think it's very possible that one of these teams at the end of the first round does take him. I don't think he's as far down as PFF has him separated from the rest of the first round wide receivers. I don't think there's like that large of a gap as far as skill and talent in between him and the rest. So I think it is reasonable for him to go in the first round. And I think the Bills have needed wide receiver for a long time. They've tried, with Amari Cooper and what's his face. So they just drafted not too long ago.
They keep trading down. Keon Coleman, by the way.
So exactly.
Coleman.
So don't trade with the Chiefs under
They
any
are
circumstances.
They're gonna find a
not
way to
trade
go
with the
down
Chiefs.
one spot.
Take
with
your
the
players.
Chiefs.
Just
They're
take
gonna
your player.
swap with the Chiefs for an extra 7th round pick, and the Chiefs are gonna steal it from them.
So I like
the Chiefs are
Jaden
gonna have
Higgins
Jaden
here
Higgins.
to the Bills.
I'm gonna keep
Speaking of
this.
the Chiefs,
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. It's Kelvin Banks. I mean, at this point in time, guard tackle is a top need. I mean, it's
That's huge.
that they would be
That'd
so
be a
excited.
huge
They would-
steal for the Chiefs. And I would even bet that they would, if he fell this far, I would bet they would be looking to move up to get him.
Yes,
potentially.
they'd be moving up to 21 to get him.
Moving up to 30.
Moving up to 30 to get him.
That's a good one.
Eagles.
all right, with the last pick here in our final mock draft of the season, the Eagles always like building up front. They lost Milton Williams in free agency, so defensive line doesn't show up as a need, but I'm still taking Derek Harmon
Yeah,
for the Eagles here.
dude, that's a steal, man.
That's a
That's a freaking steal, dude.
sexy
Don't
pick for the
actually. Don't
Eagles.
do that. Don't do that. Pick something else, please.
Nope.
That's a
Lock it in.
steal, man. That'd be so disgustingly stupid.
It wouldn't be fair.
That they would
It wouldn't
just
be
do
fair.
that.
Just not
Gosh,
fair,
man.
but
I forgot he was even available.
Yeah, PFF has him ranked in like the 40s for some reason.
He has been falling down, and I forget why.
There was, quote, injury concerns that the Steelers beat reporter Alex Kazor, he's like, I went back. This dude has never been injured in his career. So I was like,
and you know what? The Eagles are the team that looks at red flags and says like, where are they at? They could be the red flags are right there.
I'm
And
telling
Eagles
you,
are
man.
like,
They turn a blind eye.
telling you,
They have
he's a-
criminals and murderers.
he
on
will
their
be
team.
playing in the state of Pennsylvania, but it's not going to be for the Eagles, I promise.
hey Drew, can you download that and send it to me?
Yes, I can.
Please.
What's this awards button? That's interesting.
Did we get an award?
Can I
Probably got to have a subscription to get an award.
Dude, these streaks, I would have crushed these streaks if I was signed in. Holy cow. This
Wow.
50 mocks, I would have earned that 2 months ago. Anyways,
if
this
you
is-
weren't limited to one a day, oh my goodness. You'd
Yeah.
be firing
This
them
is
things
the,
in the chat. 7-round
It's our
mocks.
first round. It's our first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
This
final
I think
one.
it's solid.
This
This
is
is
the
it.
one.
The
We'll see how good we
draft
are
season
this year.
Draft season is one of the best times of the year as a football fan.
I feel like
Awesome.
was it 2
I'm
years
excited
ago
for
Or
it,
that
most
we did?
disappointing.
Was it 2 years ago we did pretty well with our picks, or was it last year that we got a lot of them? I don't remember.
Last year, I feel like didn't work.
Last year we got
I mean,
Last
cooked
year got
because of the
messed up.
quarterbacks,
yeah, the quarterbacks cooked us.
but I feel like 2 years ago we might have done really well. I don't remember.
Oh, what?
Well, 2 years ago was the one where the audio was all messed up.
No. We'll see how we do this year then. That's what we'll see.
I am
Remember this.
looking forward to this. I think
As
we're
well.
going to do pretty well with this. I see no faults, no issues whatsoever.
I see a couple.
So, not at all. You know what? No Shador Sanders. None.
Good.
That's beautiful.
I'm telling you right now, he will. One of those picks,
He
like
will.
25 to 32, will be someone trading back up to get him.
I
He's
see
not
it.
falling out of the. He's not falling out of the first
No.
round.
The Giants
And
make
that's
sense.
if he doesn't. That's if he
Saints-
doesn't go to the Saints or the Giants or
The
Saints are
Steelers.
probably the two teams. Don't say that.
The Steelers.
Mike Tomlin loves that guy so much, dude. I read the interview that he
I'm
gave
so
today in his press
excited
conference.
for how the toxicity of that Steelers organization when Shador Sanders is drafted Aaron Rodgers is signed. I'm looking forward to it, brother.
Dude, Mike Tomlin should get in the Hall of Fame just for, like, playing 18 games. Don't even worry about wins. Just playing 18 games with that team, man. He's going to go
I don't know why
9-8 again, though, and get praised for it. And like, he's the one that built the team, though, so why is he getting praised for being able to coach them?
And then Rodgers is going to come back for another year. It's like, oh, we were right there on the cusp of the playoffs. We're making it back, and Shador's going to be upset.
Now you're
like, well, I'm trying to play.
Now you're just telling lies to the people.
I don't know, man.
Jordan Love scenario.
That's what I'm saying. And Shador Sanders is going to be a lot more vocal.
You're telling lies.
I am
Or Zach
speaking
Wilson
it into
out.
existence.
You better stop it. This is J.J.
Just to
McCarthy
leave
all
the next
over
year.
again, man.
He's done it twice already.
Forcing guys out, forcing first-round picks out. That's, man, what a great teammate. He's going to be so fun in Pittsburgh. Is he going to wear number 8 or number 12?
Probably number 8 since 12's retired. You know, we had a guy named Terry Bradshaw back in the day. I don't know if you remember him or not.
Terry lets him wear the number. How's that going to make you feel?
No way.
You don't think Terry would do that? Terry's a nice guy.
I don't think Terry would do that. I don't think it would even be asked, to be honest. But
probably not.
I think he'd wear number 8, and that'd be weird.
Joe Namath offered Rodgers like the chance to wear 12, and Rodgers said no. I don't want to disrespect a great one. Terry Bradshaw is even more great than
he is.
Namath, so there's no way.
4 times greater.
There's no way. Well, that's it. I'm excited to see how the draft unfolds. We'll have a recap and all that stuff afterwards. I know Drew and I kind of each discussed like doing our own separate episodes to drop date of the draft. So we'll see what we drop. We'll see how everything unfolds and what we're able to put out. But thank you, everybody, for following us this draft season. We've had a lot of fun putting content out. We have a lot of mock drafts that you can still watch before the draft. We've got Vikings, Steelers, Jets, Cowboys, ton of mocks, couple different topics of draft-related things that we've discussed and touched on. So you can still watch all of that while it's relevant at Party Chat Sports. Follow us at Party Chat Sports anywhere and everywhere you get your podcasts, on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all of it. We'll see you. We'll all be together sometime after the draft. Let's have a great weekend. Peace.
I won't.
Adios.